This is a production of Cornell University.
Good morning. Although I wish we had started doing this soil health roadmap back in the 1970s, I'm really happy that we're working on it together now. I confess I feel really challenged to talk about in 5 minutes the decades of work that organic farmers have done in relation to soil health. This has been our top priority and our one orthodoxy. If you have healthy soils that are biologically alive and active, you will have healthy crops, and the people and animals who eat those crops will be healthy. Our advice to farmers: feed the soil, not the plants. Or as the Vermont guidelines for organic certification state, the overarching goal to improve and maintain the long-term fertility of soils. So I speak today on behalf of the Northeast Organic Farming Association of New York. It was founded in 1983, but NOFA was started in the early 70s as an interstate Northeast organization. And it's the premier statewide organization growing a strong and healthy organic and sustainable agriculture movement in New York State. We provide education and assistance to local organic and sustainable farms, connecting farms and consumers. And then we advocate for policies that support a sustainable food and farm system at both the state and federal level. We also have the largest USDA accredited certification program in New York, and this past year we surpassed the 1,000 farm mark for certification in New York. So NOFA New York, in cooperation with the other 6 NOFA chapters in the Northeast states, and also often in cooperation with MOFCA, have been engaged in a multi-year project to identify the best practices for building soil health and increasing carbon by identifying the farmers who are doing the outstanding work in carbon farming. Methods that restore carbon to the soil and keep it there for the long term. In Legal Pathways to Carbon Neutral Agriculture, Peter Lehner and Nathan Rosenberg define carbon farming as a suite of climate-friendly practices and strategies designed to result in optimal environmental, societal, and climate outcomes. So that's what we are trying to encourage organic farmers to do more of. Organic farmers strive for integrated whole farm plans. That's what you have to do in order to be certified. You have to create a plan with complex interrelated goals. So the NOFAs have identified farmers with outstanding soil health practices by holding roundtables at our winter conferences. And then once we identify these farmers, we encourage them to share their practices, so it's farmer to farmer, to hold workshops and field days at their farms. And we've done that in New York State by having these soil health field roundtables at the winter conferences and then having field days at farms. And this photo that you see before you is from Four Winds Farm, where we held a field day in 2016. And they have a no-till vegetable farm where they also produce their own compost. So the workshops at our winter conferences cover the science of soil health and also a wide range of practices that build soil carbon. And our annual conferences have taken themes like diversify, regenerate, healing the climate, healing ourselves, with keynoters like Dr. Elaine Ingham, Fred Magdahl, Eric Toonsmeyer, Wes Jackson, Wendell Berry, Andre Liu, and David Montgomery and his wife Anne, who were our keynoters last year. The fall 2017 issue of our interstate publication, The Natural Farmer, focused on climate change and soil health. And that's now archived on the Natural Farmer website, so you can access it easily. And the NOFA Massachusetts chapter has taken the lead in providing resource materials for this initiative. So you can check out their website, nofamass.org/carbon. And this initiative includes an on-farm discussion group for farmers, a database of farmer practices, a white paper, Soil Carbon Restoration, Can Biology Do the Job by Jack Kittredge, and a traveling program for gardeners. Kittredge's white paper has now been translated into 17 languages. NOFA-MAS has been doing examining the laboratory tests for measuring soil carbon, and we found that they're still really inadequate and also expensive. So instead, what we've been trying to do is to develop a number of tests adapted from agricultural institutions like the NRCS and Cornell that are simple and that farmers and gardeners can do themselves. Tests for soil quality, vitality, and carbon sequestration capability. And they've included that the best procedure is to run these tests annually on the same ground and note the changes that occur since the last time. And the single test that seems to be the best measure is to test for water infiltration. And I see that the farmers who've been doing that have also been looking at that themselves, that it's a simple thing that you can do based on the work of NRCS. Better water infiltration indicates more pores, more aggregates, and that indicates that there's more soil carbon and greater soil life. So the NOFA certification program also encourages prescribed grazing. And NOFA New York, together with NOFA Vermont, have introduced 100% grass-fed standards. So this is a slide of a farm that has a chicken tractor, and they've integrated the livestock into their vegetable production. NOFA New York has created a New York Organic Action Plan, and you can see that on our website. And our top legislative priority for this plan is to create a healthy soils program in New York State. We want to support research to increase understanding of soil health and the connection between soil health and the nutritional value of food. And so I'm really excited to be here and work together on seeing which is the legislation that will be most effective. On the federal level, we work on the Farm Bill, and we would like to see increased funding for soil health research, greater understanding of the role of agriculture and climate mitigation, technical assistance and conservation programs through EQIP, NRCS, Conservation Reserve Program, and funding for buffers to protect organic farms. We're a member of the National Organic Coalition, which advocates for increased funding for organic research through OREI and adding soil health as a priority. NOFA also supports the Senate Farm Bill language. There are two Farm Bill versions that are out there, and we would like to see the Senate version, which will strengthen conservation programs instead of cutting out the conservation stewardship program, and increase payment levels for cover crops, resource conserving crop rotations, and management intensive rotational grazing. And we believe that government and university programs should spread information together on climate-friendly practices, and that farms that do not practice basic conservation shouldn't be eligible for URCS funding. And that's my end. Thank you.
This has been a production of Cornell University, on the web at cornell.edu.